All right, we're back once again. Now we're doing the 6A Central. Once again, what we're doing is we're taking Max Prep's rankings from last year, comparing them to this season coming up to see whether or not we agree with what Max Prep's predictions would be for the teams, whether they be the same, higher, lower, or whatever the case might be. And actually on this one here, it's kind of a mystery for all of us.
It's a lot of Phoenix teams.
A lot of Phoenix teams that we don't really know. So we're going to just kind of do our best on this one. And maybe we'll be right. Maybe we'll be completely wrong or whatever the case might be. But forgive us either way. We are doing this one because South Point is one of our teams, and we want to make sure that we include them in our coverage and everything like that. So I don't know, man. Do you want to start this one off? Or you want me to start off? Go ahead.
I can start off. All right, so we're going to start with Brophy College Prep. They're currently ranked 24th. They'll be opening up against Williamsfield, who's ranked 22nd. I believe that's even a rematch from the playoffs. They'll be traveling to California to take on Cathedral Catholic. At home against Sunny Slope, who's 58. Home against Chaparral, who's 25. At Notre Dame Prep, who's 20th. At Basha, who's number one team in Arizona. Then after their bye, they're at home against Desert Vista, who's 43. At Corona del Sol, who's 26. At Mountain Point, who's 29th. And then finish up their season at home against South Point, who is currently 16th. So outside of that California game, which we don't know the out-of-state rankings as of right now,
Right.
You'd have to go dig a little deeper on Max Preps for that ranking. But outside of that, Max Preps has them finishing 5-4. And I might even say, they probably will finish 6-4, just depending on that California game.
Right.
So I'll give them that game there where, it's a team that didn't have a really good year last year, finished 3-8. But if you look at their schedule, they play a lot of tough teams. You can just see it right here. Their overall season ranking is 240.
Right.
So they play very good competition. What do you say? Is it an improvement from last year, or is it going to be another tough year?
Yeah, I think Brophy Prep deserves all the respects that they get for being a dominant program in the state of Arizona. I mean, they always are a valid program here. 5-4. I mean, and let's just say hypothetically, let's give the Cathedral Catholic game to them as well, 6-4, whatever the case might be. The wins coming here are coming to them from, it looks like Sunny Slope. I'd give it to them. Looks like as well they're giving Chaparral. That could be an interesting one there.
Very.
Those are close games. Obviously, 24th and 25th playing each other. So that could swing either direction. Desert Vista, give them that game as well. Corona del Sol. What's interesting is, like, honestly, outside of some of the ones that you could easily say are really dominant, such as the Bashas, Notre Dame Prep even is kind of in that category as well. A lot of these games can go. I'm going to probably have to go this, especially since we don't know this region that well. At least most of the games, coin flip games all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I think you kind of hit it on the head. We'll mention probably the low seed, which is probably the clearest thing in this, and maybe that might not even be all that clear.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the top, there's only 5 teams in the region. I think it's a 4-headed beast that can go any direction.
Definitely. So you'll say somewhere around.
I wouldn't deny the maybe a 6-4,
Okay.
500 6-4 kind of season. Why not? Let's go ahead and give it to them.
Okay. So you want to take the next one?
Sure, I'll go over with Corona del Sol. This being Jake Barrow's team, second year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And they're going to start off with Casa Grande, which we discussed in a prior show. They're going to start off with them at 59th. Then they have at Centennial, which is ranked number 9th in the state. Then they have at Pinnacle, ranked 8th. Chandler, ranked 4th. Marcos Deniza, ranked 63rd. Then they got South Point at 16th. Then they're at Mountain Point at 29th. Brophy Prep, the one we just went over, 24th. Desert Vista, 43rd. and then Castile at 10. Max Prep's got them going at 4 and 6, and I think it's a brutal schedule, man.
It is.
Like, you look at like teams ranked 9th, 8th, 4th, 10th. These are the schools that you're battling right off the jump, for the most part. So I could easily see what they're kind of saying here. I think they got to start off by taking the game over Casa Grande.
Yes.
I think that's the game that they have to win. Then obviously it's a 3 punch in a row in the gut kind of thing, and then you got Marcos Deniza. So you got to make sure that you got that. Could that wind up beating them up a lot? Where maybe a South Point, who's let's be honest, from what we're looking at, the strength of their schedule from last year compared to this schedule, some of these teams might not be the same. So is it easy to say South Point being ranked 16th is more of a dominant program? I think it's difficult.
Yeah.
I'll say it's no easy task. I think South Point comes in with some strong, dominant defensive line players and stuff like that. But we'll just have to see. I think maybe South Point becomes a game that they could probably take in this situation, even though I've got, just based off of statistics, South Point probably being my favorite for this region.
Okay.
But the ranking could be completely off due to the strength of schedules that some of these teams played last year. So I'm really interested to see who's coming back, who's not coming back. There's so many question marks for me on this region because I just don't know.
Okay. For me, I think I'm going to go a little bit higher when it comes to Corona del Sol.
Okay.
I'd say, they pick up the wins against Casa Grande and Marcos Deniza.
Okay.
And then I have them beating Mountain Point and Desert Vista. So that's 4 right there. I would say the Brophy Prep and South Point game, those are the ones that can possibly go either way.
Gotcha.
So, if they can pick up both, that's already 6 wins. If they split those, that's 5 there. So I'm going to give them, a 5-5 season. And it's just because 4 out of their 10 games they're playing teams in the top 10.
Right.
In the state of Arizona. So that's definitely going to be a tough stretch for them. But I'd say 5-5 for Corona del Sol.
Definitely. I could see that.
All right.
And then let's go over to Desert Vista, since you tend to be the one that's got a little bit more of the enlightenment of it, or at least opinions on it. I'll go ahead and just ramble off the numbers here. Desert Vista coming in at 43rd. They start their season off against Perry, who's ranked 39th. William Field ranked 22nd. Then they're at Valley Vista, ranked 57th. They're at Hamilton, ranked 5th. Then at Chaparral, ranked 25th. They have South Point at home, ranked 16th. They get their bye. Then they're at Brophy Prep at 24. Ironwood comes in at 125th. Corona del Sol at 26th. Mountain Point at 29th. And Max Preps gives Desert Vista a 2-8 season, which Ironwood Ridge is the only real sore thumb in this schedule.
Oh, yeah, Ironwood.
I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying Ironwood Ridge. Ironwood's the only big sore thumb in this schedule. Once again, these are incredible schedules, man.
Yeah, no, I'd say where Max Preps has them at 2-8. It's kind of right for me. I'd say the Valley Vista game and the Ironwood game would probably be ones that they can pick up. Everything else, Perry, even though they're ranked 39th, I think that they're a tougher team than what their ranking kind of shows.
I see you.
So outside of that, I don't see, they struggled last year against Mountain Point. They struggled last year against Corona del Sol. And then the rest of it, you're playing South Point, who's new to this region, and then Brophy Prep as well, who's new to this region. It's kind of like, do I think they can pick up anything outside of that? I don't see it right now just because of the successes of the other team being that all 4 out of the, outside of Desert Vista, the other 4 teams did make the playoffs.
Right.
So I think that if I was going to put Desert Vista, I'd have them at the bottom in this region. So I'm going to stick with 2 and 8.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Hands down, like I put Desert Vista at the bottom of this region as well. And not to say that it is a bottom dwelling team. I mean, this is a solid region here. I believe it comes the third strongest region.
Yeah.
If I'm correct overall, I might be wrong on that. But it's this is a solid region. You got Mountain Point coming in at 29th. They're at Valley Vista 57th. Then they're going to California versus Palm Desert. They'll be back, but they'll be away at Centennial, who's ranked number 9th. You have Central, which is ranked 68th. Cesar Chavez is the Thursday game, which is going to be they're 41. ALUG Queen Creek, which is ranked 7th. Now they're a move up, right? They went from 5 to 4. 5 to 6.
Yes, I believe so. They're the newest additions over there.
Uh-huh. Then you got the bye, and then they're going into Corona del Sol, 26, as we mentioned. Sal Point, 16 as well. Brophy Prep, 24. And finishing off their season, they have Desert Vista, the team that we had just spoke about. So running through their gauntlet after the bye. Max Prep's got them 4, 5, and question mark on Palm Desert because we don't know who they are. Where are you at on this one?
I'd say depending on that Palm Desert game, I'd have them, if they are able to pick up that game, I'd say probably around a 4 and 6 or a 5 and 5 team.
I'm curious to see how Queen Creek does week to week with 6A teams or being put now up into that bracket. So sort of like a Mesquite, how they went up and all of a sudden they didn't necessarily strive in that market yet. Now when they're coming back down, they seem to be firing pretty well.
And Queen Creek, did they make it to the Open playoffs? Do you know by chance?
They were Open 8.
In the Open 8. So, they have played probably a couple of these teams here.
Yeah, I think they made the Open 8 because, in a sense,
the 5A.
They were the 5A team to make it. I mean, other than that, you had all 7 6A teams. So it's really interesting. I will say this hands down. I think 4 out of the 5 teams in here easily make it to the playoffs.
Oh, without a doubt.
But just, here the 4 or 5, maybe I'll go with a 5 and 5. Just because I'm interested to see, teams like, for example, Queen Creek, how they do hold up. I would like to also see more about Corona del Sol. Could that go the other direction? But once again, it's almost like when you get into that region play, that's where it's more at. Maybe a Cesar Chavez. They're obviously one of the ones that they're saying they should beat, but is it necessarily one that they will beat? Is a different kind of situation here. Central, I'll give that win to them, no problem.
And I'm going to be keeping my eye out on Mountain Point a little bit more because the quarterback that I had spoken about for Maricopa, which was Robert Nord, he is now, I believe, if he's not been named, he might be the starting quarterback for Mountain Point. So they're getting one of the guys that I'm familiar with, and like I said, I love the kid's arm and his accuracy. And so moving, from 5A up to 6A is going to be something probably good for him. Being around a winning program, it might elevate his gameplay a little bit more. So,
well, you're talking about a sub 300 strength of schedule too. I mean, the way that we do it, and just so y'all know the strength of schedule, we add all the teams' rankings up, and that's what we come up with. But this is a strong program, schedule going on here and whatnot. So I'm interested to see.
Well, let's get to the team that you've been waiting on.
So Sal Point comes in ranked 16th. This is the team why we're actually covering this, because we did want to make sure we're including them. Unfortunately, down in southern Arizona, we don't really get to see too much of 6A football. And thank you for the years with Tucson High and now obviously South Point being up there, so we actually do get to understand a little bit more about 6A football to a little extent. We're not really that deep though. They're going to start off their season with Marana at 51. Then they're going to go ahead and travel off to California, as many of these teams do. Bishop Alamany. Well,
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and say that, yeah.
Close enough.
All right, works for me. Then they're going to be at Shadow Ridge, ranked 80th. Valley Vista, ranked 57th. Then they got their bye. They got Desert Vista, ranked 43rd. Corona del Sol at 26th. Liberty, ranked number 2. Mountain Point, 29th. Scottsdale Saguaro at 3rd. And Brophy Prep at 24th. Max Prep's got them going 2-7 and a question mark, not knowing who Bishop Alamine is. So we'll just kind of sit there and go. I've heard that they weren't all that dominant of a program in California, so I'd probably give them the W. But you don't want to tend to do that anyways. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and throw in your opinion here on this.
So with South Point, I'd say there's 2 games. A majority of their schedule looks good for them, especially the first. I'd say the first 5 games should be, depending on the California team. So I think that they probably will start off 5-0. The 2 games that, of course, you got Liberty at number 2 and Saguaro. That's Scottsdale Saguaro, who are number 3. I think they pick up the victory against Mountain Point. The 2 that I'm kind of in a toss-up on is going to be Corona del Sol and Brophy Prep. Those ones I feel can go either way. So depending on those ones, I'm actually going to say that South Point could possibly finish around a 7-3 or 6-4, depending on where you see the other losses coming from. So I'm going to say 7-3 for South Point.
Yeah, I could probably go with you and agree on this too. I mean, I can see obviously the Liberty game and obviously Scottsdale Saguaro as well being as 2 of the L's that they might pick up on the season. And once again, I think what you're hitting it. I think Desert Vista plays the back role. I think you kind of get like this 4-way,
And I might even say a 3. Kind of a 3-way.
You put Mountain Point in the
I would put Mountain Point underneath the South Point. So yeah, CDS and Brophy Prep.
So you heard it from this guy. He's saying that we pretty much got a 3-headed dragon kind of thing going on here, which could be interesting, obviously, to see in this region. But the great part is you got 4 teams. I'm pretty definite that will make the playoffs out of here. And as you see, we're talking, or Max Prep's got these guys, some of them down at 4 and 6. That just goes to show you some of the competitiveness of what goes on in 6A football, hands down.
Well,
so,
because just to kind of piggyback off that, Brophy Prep is a team that finished 3-8 last year.
Right.
Made the playoffs, and I believe they picked up a victory in the playoffs.
Right.
In 6A. So, just because the record it's because they're playing some of the toughest schools in the state of Arizona, and those records are going to reflect that. But like you said, the 4 teams, outside of Desert Vista should make the playoffs. And then if you might even see Desert Vista possibly pick up more than a couple of the 2 wins that we had for them, and could be a Brophy Prep where they might even sneak into the playoffs as well.
You never know. That's the interesting thing, and we're going to find out a lot of this, kind of being outside guys looking in, discovering more about the 6A. I'm glad that once again South Point has helped kind of shed the light for us into this window, and also even you a little bit with Corona del Sol due to Jake Barrows going over there.
Oh yeah, and he took the helm, man, and just kind of seemed like the CDS hasn't even skipped a beat since he's taken over, and I think kind of elevated the program a little bit more.
So it's great to see, and it's good to be a part about this region here, and hopefully we'll learn about even some more of these teams. So other than that, anything else?
Well, I got to ask you, who would be your favorite?
Who's my favorite?
Yeah, who's your favorite coming into this one?
I gotta do that southern bias in here. I gotta go with my guy at South Point. I'm gonna go ahead and give him it.
Okay.
But honestly, I think there's a lot that they have to kind of do. Out of the 3 that we're talking about, they do come in with a weaker of the strength of schedules, which could wind up hurting them when it comes into actually playing those other teams. So I'm kind of worried about that a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and give them finishing off the season around 8-2, 7-3-ish. But yeah,
Okay.
I know you got somebody else coming.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, because
the other side of the strip, huh?
I've been thinking about it. South Point is definitely in my top two, but it's been changing. After kind of looking at these teams a little bit between Brophy Prep and Corona del Sol. But I'm gonna stick with my guy and Coach Barrow, and I'm gonna go with Corona del Sol.
Why don't you just both be wrong? And Brophy
I'm saying Brophy is a tough team, man. Don't sleep on them.
So yeah,
but if you think about it, you got to look at those regions, the region games. Because if
that's
one
where
beats,
it's gonna be.
Yeah, if one beats the other, it's kind of like if then they all finish with the same record in that region. Who's gonna end up, getting the edge?
I could see Corona del Sol because the strength of their schedule is coming in. Also, like a Brophy coming in, they might be ranked higher, but who wins the region could be a different question.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, you're sitting here and you're looking at it, like, I see that obviously Brophy Prep's got number one bash on their thing. But, you look at Corona del Sol, 9, 8, 4. Like, they got 10. So they got 4 teams all ranked under top 10 coming into the season. So strength of schedule might help Corona del Sol be ranked higher, but who's going to have the better schedule? Who's going to win the region? We don't know. We'll find that all out. But either way, it's going to be great to kind of kick back and watch this. Was there anything else that you had to say?
Get ready for the schedule releases. We're kind of getting those finalized and everything locked in for this year. I believe last episode we said anywhere between 12 and 14 games.
Great games.
And then on top of that, if one of the things I know we talked about and haven't been able to mention it, if there's any JV teams there, we have some openings on our Thursday nights. We'll send out some dates here once we get all these schedules locked in. And if there's any JV teams out there that kind of want
freshmen.
Even freshmen, yeah. I can't forget about those guys. And if there's any games out there you guys kind of want to get locked in, either hit up Chris or hit up me or Loopy.
We gotta learn our future.
Yes, absolutely. And then I think that's very beneficial coming in, and it's going to make for better shows in the long run. So yeah, just be on the lookout for those schedules. Any JV freshman teams that want to get a game locked in, and we don't mind driving out there and giving you guys some love as well. So other than that, I think that's really all I had to say.
Yeah. Oh, all good, man.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So let's get out of here. We'll talk to you guys. And that's the wrap up for all our schedules. We will probably do some releases for like who we think will win the games like weekly or something. So there might be more coming up before the season.
And you got to let the fans in on that one too. You got to let them pick and see, who can be the top person that week to get the most wins right.
Every week we tend to do a poll. We post it up on our Facebook page or whatnot because typically it tends to be the parents more so than anything else. Maybe we do need to get it over on the Twitter side or whatever the case might be. But we normally do a poll and let you guys vote to find out who you think is going to win the games of each week. And whoever gets ranked the top, we tend to try and find somebody or someplace that'll give a discount towards either some kind of food or something. Like last year we had the Thunder Bacon Brewery or Thunder Bacon Burger.
Yeah.
Thunder Bacon Burgers. Great guy, my man, Lindy. He was doing stuff. So, like, I don't know if we'll go back that route or if we'll find somebody different, but, there's a lot going on. So we look forward to it. Anybody that might be interested in doing a discount for our leaders and picking the games, please let us know. Absolutely. Doesn't matter if you're in Pinal or if you're down in southern Arizona. We're just trying to get the communities to kind of bond up a little bit. That way we can definitely kind of like, I don't know, embrace the game that we've all loved. So that's the main thing that we're trying to do.
All right, sir. Well,
so let's get out of here. Other than that, we'll see you guys. Season's coming.